Ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya la lai 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 ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya la lai 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 lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We have people in the sanctuary, so it's good to hear you. It's good to see people on Zoom. Let us begin with a heart tap as we've been beginning our service for the past 15 months or so. This past year, we have loved our Shabbat services on Zoom and have actually had more people attending services than ever before. And so we're committed to continuing this practice even after the pandemic is over. And yet, I must admit that I also love our service in our sanctuary. And I'm looking forward to gathering physically with you sometime soon. And so tonight we're experimenting with the hopes that we'll be able to do both, one community. And so we have over 400 people from our temple community on Zoom right now. And for the first time on a Friday night, we have about 30 members of our community, from our leadership committee, from our board and their families. And we're trying to explore how to do a joint service. But here's the challenge, and that's that we've never done this before. We have no special budget, just a lot of good people who care about our community and want us to worship together. And so I just want to begin tonight by thanking Emily and Max and Maddie and Stephen, our whole tech team, our custodial staff, our clergy who have worked so hard this week, and our community as I ask for your patience. We are in uncharted waters, but what I have learned in my years at TBE is that these waters, the ride can be very exciting because we're all guided by our values and anchored by our love and our understanding and a deep commitment to Judaism and the Jewish people. And so I am looking forward to the future, together in our sanctuary and on Zoom. So let's begin. If you're in our sanctuary, we're on page 130. At home, as we do each week on Zoom, we join with the cantor with the words, L'chu Neranena, let us celebrate Shabbat.
L'chu Neranena, l'Adonai, Nariya, Litzor Yishenu, karma fanav betoda bizmirot narialo lai 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 lai
So tonight is TGIS. And so we have a spiritual activity for those at home and in the sanctuary, because not only is it Shabbat, but it's also Yom HaAtzmaut. So on the link or in the rear of the sanctuary, we have an Israeli flag. And we hope that you'll draw or color a blessing within the flag. And then later in the service, we'll ask you to hold it up on Zoom so that we'll collect our prayers for the state of Israel as it turns 73. But right now, let us begin Shabbat with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. And so I'd like to invite Ronen, who is at home, to come in on the screen as we light these candles together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehad likneh shel Shabbat.
And Cantor, before words of Lechadodi, I'd like to bring in the Levine family and the Bard family to share a word about experiencing Shabbat in Israel as we celebrate these two holidays this evening. Are you unmuted?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we were just reflecting on what we love most about Israel. And we had the privilege and pleasure to travel to Israel in 2018 with TBE members and both Rabbis Sissenwein and Sapphire. Having the opportunity to explore our shared heritage together with 3 generations of family was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience for all of us. We also represented the youngest with Samantha at age 6 and the oldest with Mark at some larger number, participants on our collective journey. We were struck by the spirit, the culture, and the resilience of the Israelis at the ground level. While simultaneously surrounded by adversity and conflict, they're able to carry out their lives with humor, optimism, and confidence. The Israelis live in the contemporary world while honoring the rich history, which they are such a critical part of. We love the incredible history of Israel, highlighted by Masada, the Dead Sea, historical museums and ruins, an eye-opening visit to the Ayalon Institute Bullet Factory, and sundown on Shabbat overlooking the Western Wall, while enjoying truly the largest challah we've ever seen that Rabbi Sissenwein hand-carried through the Old City. A significant portion of our love for Israel revolves around the culture, and more specifically, the food. And really, we mean the chocolate. The De Carina Chocolate Factory and the incredible Inbal breakfast, where you can literally have dessert for breakfast, were certainly loves of ours. The trip and the country were a joy to immerse ourselves in together as a family, as a temple community, and as a Jewish community with our sister temple in Haifa. And finally, where else could we possibly have the opportunity to dig in caves with the rabbis and see them together riding up on a camel on the side of a gas station in Israel? We love Israel.
Thank you. Let us now continue with the words of Lecha Dodi. You can find them on page 138 or on our screen this evening.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי, לקראת קלה הנה שבת נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת קלה הנה שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי, לקראת קלה הנה שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת קלה הנה שבת נקבלה, יאללה We invite you to please rise as we greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom, עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי, לקראת קלה, או פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי, לקראת קלה. continue on page 152 if you're in the sanctuary, at home with these words from our heart, the Shema, connecting us as one sacred Kehillah Kadosha, one sacred community. Shema Yisrael Adonai We continue with words that unite us as one TBE community. Let there be love. Please join me. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu Leshalom
V'ha'amidenu Shomreinu Lechayim Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu
Eloheinu
Hashkivenu
Lishalom.
Hashkivenu
And
Understanding among us.
let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Just our voices. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
So as we do each week, we open up our chat box. And I invite you to place in the chat box words of blessing, words of gratitude. First, Rabbi Nachman says that each word of blessing, each word of gratitude is like a flower. So as we watch these blessings flow in our chat box and in our sanctuary, let us fill this space, this sacred sanctuaries, with a garden of blessing and a garden of love. If you're seated, I invite you to rise, page 164, and set our intention with body and spirit with the words of Adonai Sfatai.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agid תהילתך. Adonai, Sefatai Tivtah. V'yagid tehilatecha. Open up our lips that we may praise your name. Open up our hearts that we may feel our pain. Open up our souls and let our love make us whole, and we will praise your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tivtah. V'yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tivtah. V'yagid tehilatecha.
So let's take a moment in personal reflection. And on this Shabbat, where we celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut, I want to invite our Vice President of Klal Yisrael, Jeff Turk, to offer a prayer for the state of Israel. You may be seated. Page 377.
For the state of Israel, O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jeff.
So at this time, I invite you, if you have your Israeli flag that you've placed a blessing on, to hold it close to your screen, hold it close to your camera so we can see and capture these blessings. And as you do so, know that we will be capturing these prayers and blessings and sharing them with our sister congregation, Ohel Avraham in Haifa. And so let us hold them up close as we prepare to recite Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Let us turn our prayers to those who are in need of healing, whether it is a healing of body, of spirit, or of the mind. For those of our community who are on Zoom this evening, our chat box will be open. We invite you to place the name of the loved one you are thinking of in our chat box. And for those of you in our community, I will invite you to rise, share the name of the loved one you are thinking of as we join our prayers together for healing as one community. Let's join together in Mishaberach, these words of healing.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let let us say, Amen.
And as we do each week, we celebrate the milestones, the Shehachianu moments that give us joy. So let's start first acknowledging our Bar Mitzvah students that we want to wish a hearty Mazel Tov to: Josh Blasfog, Ben Myers, Andrew Plant, and Ronan Heimlich. And next, we'll celebrate our birthdays. So if you are celebrating a birthday this week, we invite you to raise your hand as we give those a chance to scroll through the gallery. And I want to wish a happy 75th birthday to Tim Shutke. Happy birthday and Mazel Tov.
I see a few
So-
birthdays.
Our anniversaries this week. Any anniversaries, go ahead and raise your hands. I hear that Mikey and Amy Novisky, who are at home, are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. So Mazel Tov to you. And we'll acknowledge also those experiences that we have felt for the first time this week, whether it is a new beginning. I know Marcy Sindel is experiencing a new beginning this week. Mazel Tov, Marcy. And I'm scrolling through the gallery to see if we have any lost teeth or anyone else who has experienced a new blessing this week.
So Rabbi Sapphire, I have a new blessing, not just for tonight, for gathering together on Zoom and in the sanctuary, but this morning we had a rehearsal, which we never do. That was like a first for Temple Beth Elohim. After the rehearsal, I wrote my thanks, and I only listed the people who were there this morning. And so I apologize because I left out Devin earlier, I just realized, who has been instrumental in our tech team. So we thank you. And Susan as well, who's here in our sanctuary, welcoming everyone. Jillian is here. Neil Silverstein, the president of our congregation, is here. And then, of course, members of our board and leadership team. I am deeply grateful for all of you for this first. And we have another
Amen.
Simcha to share.
We do. So speaking of firsts, I want to call Adi Neidich to our bima with his parents, Julia Connolly and Alon. Adi was born almost exactly 1 year ago. Actually, Sunday will be his first birthday. So here, our pandemic baby who only knows TBE Online. And every time I turn on TBE Online, I see you, Adi. It's nice to meet you in person. So we have the honor of giving Adi his Hebrew name as we formally welcome him into the community of Israel this evening. So I want to share the blessing that announces your name. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, kayem et hayeled hazeh, la'aviv u'imo, vayikare shemo b'Yisrael, Adi Leor, ben Alon ve'aviva. ותגל עמו בפרי ויתנה, זה הקטון גדול יהיה, כשם שנכנס לברית, כן ייכנס לתורה וחופה ומעשים טובים. Our God, God of our mothers and fathers, sustain this child through his parents' loving care. And let him be known by our people by the name Adi Leor. May his name be a source of joy to him and inspire him to serve our people and all humankind. May his parents continue to rejoice in his growth of body and soul as they have brought him into the covenant. So may they, with wisdom and patience, lead him to a life filled with Torah. The blessing of learning and community, chuppah, a loving relationship worthy of God's blessing, and ma'asim tovin, the pursuit of good deeds. And let us all say, Amen. So Adi is chewing away on that Torah already. You know that Torah is supposed to be sweet. So that's exactly right. So come on forward, Julia and Alon, and share the meaning of this beautiful name with us.
Adi Leor Neidich.
On your first birthday, we are delighted to celebrate this milestone.
The world and our lives were humming along, and now everything is different. This epoch of time has been changed by a global pandemic from a virus, SARS-CoV-2.
Social distancing, masks, quarantine, isolation, and now vaccines, hope, hatikva.
You were born, and our world is forever distinct.
You are absolutely perfect.
Healthy, playful, sweet, cuddly, and fresh.
And very, very cute.
Mom and Abba cannot imagine our lives without you.
The pure joy you instill in all of us is effervescent.
So today we welcome you to the Jewish faith with your Hebrew name, Adi, which means jewel. The A in your name remembers.
And Panetta, my maternal grandmother, a strong, independent woman, a Marine, open-minded and kind, with wisdom far beyond her time.
Anna Gecht, my maternal grandmother, a survivor of pogroms and anti-Semitism, fled to New York in hopes of safety, freedom, and a better life. A true Renaissance woman with esprit for the arts, athletics, knowledge, and fashion. Your middle name is Liol, which means my light.
This name remembers my paternal grandmother, Lee Connolly, kind and warm. She was a talker, always ready for a get-together, with decorations to boot.
Adi Lior Neidich, we love you beyond words. May you be blessed with briut,
Health,
mazel,
luck,
hatzlacha,
success,
osha,
happiness,
ahava.
love,
May you be a jewel, Adi.
shining from inside out.
And please be kind to us. This is our first time doing this parenting thing. And remember, we love you from A to Z, or Aleph to Taf, or Ayin to Taf. Yom Huledet Sameach. Happy birthday.
Mazel Tov, Adi. I have one more thing for you, and that is to present you with your certificate of naming so that it's official and you'll remember this moment always. So let's join together for all of these simchas, all of these joyous occasions that we celebrate with the words of Shehachiyah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן.
Mazel tov. So this week we celebrate Israel's Independence Day. And so I would like to share a message with you from our sister congregation in Haifa. And it's Rabbi Naama Daphne Kellen. This is one of the wonders of being able to celebrate on Zoom and in the sanctuary. So with that, let's listen to Rabbi Naama.
Dear TBE friends and family, Mazal Tov, happy birthday. This is our Yom HaAtzmaut, the birthday of Israel. And like every birthday, we think of the great achievements so far and also of the challenges ahead. And since you have been following the news in the last few years, you definitely know about our challenges. As Israel being a Jewish and democratic state, as being pluralistic Jews reform Judaism in Israel, but there are also so many things to celebrate. We celebrate being a democracy. We celebrate being able to be vaccinated. We also celebrate the first Reform rabbi who's a member of the Knesset. So to many more celebrations to come, remember it's your birthday as well. It's the birthday for the state for the Jewish people. Mazal tov.
Pretty amazing. So it's been 73 years, which isn't a very long time in the life of a nation state. But in only 73 years, we know that Israel has made tremendous accomplishments, building out of the ashes of the Holocaust a vibrant democracy, an economic world power that has brought incredible technology to the world, from drip irrigation and making the desert bloom, to the little cameras that are now placed inside small pills to record the intricacies of the human body, to Waze, the application making sure we don't get lost on our journeys. But as Rabbi Nama mentioned, Israel has its challenges too. For democracy, as we Americans certainly know, is hard and vulnerable and has to be protected by constantly making sure that the democratic society lives up to its values, to care for the poor, to protect its minorities, and to always advocate, even amidst times of great fear, for peace with its neighbors. Unfortunately, Israel has worked hard to sustain its democracy. I guess one could say it's been pretty successful, considering it just had its fourth election in a row trying to define the leadership of the country. And the best way for us to shape Israel, to make it better and make it stronger, is to be present and get involved and hopefully even to travel to Israel. And so as things are beginning to open, I hope you'll consider a trip to Israel with our community. Several are being planned for the coming year for families, for individuals, for couples. Just contact me or Jeff Turk, our Vice President of Klal Yisrael, or one of the clergy, Susan Karen. Ted Nesson is working hard with our trips as well. I hope you can join us. We'll be visiting Rabbi Naama too in Haifa. And together we can help make Israel's next 73 years better than the first. For as it says in Hatikva, Israel's national anthem, our hope is not lost to be a free people in our lands. And the work is not yet complete. May Israel be blessed with a strong democracy, with health, with bounty, and with peace. And let us all say,
Amen.
And so on this Shabbat, when we celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut, I ask you to rise if you're able at home in spirit or in body, in the sanctuary as well, as we listen and join together in the words of Hatikva.
Thanks to Alon for joining us on cello.
Let's be seated once again as we now continue with the words of Mourner's Kaddish, and as we do each week, we invite those of you who are in mourning or observing a yahrzeit So please use the chat room to record the names of those individuals you're remembering. We also call to mind those individuals, members, and relatives of our community who have passed away in the past 30 days. Esther Markowitz Berman, Lucille Binderman, Faye Boren, Susan Fleischer Breitberg, Francis Granoff, Vera Halpern, Harvey Peters, Ilsa Salton, Jane Sherman, Gail Trachtman, and Donald Tuck. I've also been asked to recite the names of Margaret Spear, the mother of Kathy Spear, and Sherman Starr, the father of Tony Starr, and Julie Starr-Duker, and Dinny Starr, and the husband of Ellie Starr, as well as James Wolfe, the brother of Jessica Wolfe. We think of all of them as well as all of those whose names are listed in our chat box, and we invite the mourners in our midst to rise as we recite these words. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalmad yivrach ruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'galav izman kariv imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mebarach le'alam olamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran bi'ama v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So you may be seated. So we have been counting a journey from Passover to Shavuot, the days of the Omer. And each night we add another day, reciting the blessing first and then counting the next day. So Cantor?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer.
Hayom 13 yom shehem shavua echad v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is the 13th day, making 1 week and 6 days of the Omer.
Continue with Kiddush and Motzi. A few announcements. One is to have I'll talk about the blood drive, but why don't we hear from Rabbi Sherman
This
first.
is the one thing we didn't practice.
Great.
Right, okay. So it was really special and meaningful to gather with so many of you on Wednesday night for as we marked Yom HaShoah. On Sunday morning at 10 a.m., we'll have an opportunity to zoom in from Israel with Holocaust survivor Abraham Peter. So I hope you will join us. I hope you will join us for that, what promises to be a really special conversation. And then looking ahead to Monday, April 19th, the Racial Justice Initiative is sponsoring a community book read of Isabel Wilkerson's book, Cast. So I hope that you will check that out and join us for that conversation.
So I was thinking, Rabbi Sherman, we've been debating whether we need 2 separate services, one on Zoom and one in the sanctuary, where we could attempt to do this kind of together approach. And my hope is, after this evening, that we get a sense that we can do this together approach, and that we'll even have more people in the sanctuary. People asked me how we're going to determine who comes into the sanctuary. One thing we know is we're not going to privilege people who are vaccinated versus those who are not yet vaccinated until everybody has the opportunity to be vaccinated. And we are looking forward to that day when no one is waiting in line or trying to get on the website or waiting for the date when they're allowed to get a vaccine. But I do hope that those who are vaccinated in our community help lead the way with mitzvot and start entering society to help those in need in ways that they haven't been able to do in the last few months. We're going to start to try to use our building to do some of these activities and really repair the world as it's time to return to those core mitzvot of our people, to bring light to those who are still in the darkness. I am thrilled that we are hosting a blood drive for the Red Cross on April 20th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. I can't think of a better way to begin activity in our building. So I hope you'll join us April 20th between the hours 11 and 4. For anyone who's eligible, we need you to schedule an appointment to donate blood or platelets to help prevent another blood shortage. You'll also see a number of social justice opportunities in the building and outside of the building, and we hope you'll join us. With that, let us now go to Kiddush, and that is being led by Ben Meyer. So Ben, let's find you. I see you on Zoom, but let's get you in our speaker view there. Now we see you in the sanctuary too. Can we unmute you as well? You have your Kiddush cup somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. There it is. Awesome. In the sanctuary, let's rise, since we usually rise for Kiddush. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'achava uvratzon hinkilanu zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu bakarta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha ve'achava uvratzon chinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
Amen. You can take a sip.
Yasher
Mazel
koach,
tov.
Ben.
We know you're going to do a beautiful job in leading us tomorrow. And now let's bring in Josh, who's going to lead us in Motzi, also becomes bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. Josh, you look like you're in good company. There's the challah. Lift it even a little higher so we can see it in that amazing spot you're in. All right, will you lead us? Let's unmute you.
It's good.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lahem min haaretz.
Amen. Now you get to take a bite, Josh. Let's see. Take a bite. We are in real time. Excellent. We can say mazel tov to
Mazel
you.
tov.
Let's open up the microphones and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rhonda, Shabbat Shalom, Rhonda. Ronnie, Shabbat Shalom.
Emily, thank you so much.
Kelsey, that must be
Mom and Dad, do you know any of these people?
Deborah, Shabbat Shalom, Deborah.
Shabbat Shalom, Rhonda.
Michael Appel and your partner.
we know this first.
Michael and your partner.
Shabbat Shalom.
My thing with these and her guys from Island.
Shabbat Shalom, Nancy.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom,
Masha and Mitch, I hope you had a nice visit with your grandchildren. Got it.
Nice to see you.
What's up, Lucy?
Linda Cohen is a gerontology social worker. Anyway, I'm gonna
Shabbat Shalom, Millers.
I am in the bathroom.
Shabbat
Shalom, Ellen.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
I don't want to say Who's that?
Before, but first, we are very pleased to have David Kaminsky on the clarinet, who will first play the Vashon, and then Gary Kaplan will chant the Vashon.
And Julie, Shabbat Shalom, Julie.
Oh, I didn't see Julie. Shabbat Shalom, Julie.
Toby.
And I see Nancy.
Hi, Marcia.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Toby. Shabbat Shalom.
And I see Art over there. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes.
Here's Lorelai. Shabbat Shalom, Lorelai. I know it's
Hey, it's a bread day. It's a bread day.
Bread day, was it good?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Julie said she was going to make a small one.
I need a napkin.